Hello and welcome to this 10th episode of our NIO Swift MUD tutorial series, where we're creating a multi-user dungeon game using the Swift programming language and the NIO framework. And today we're going to be working on the speak command or the say command that lets players say something out loud that the other players in the room will hear. Just one quick addition. Last time we talked about notifications. I added in the source code a little notification right here that sends also a notification to all the other players in the room when a player logs in, so they see that somebody else joined the room. But first let's start working on to allow a player to speak. And the first thing we will need is a command to do so, or a verb to do so. And here we'll use the word say, and we'll say a sentence, and that'll be a string. And we will require at least 2 words, the say command and then at least 1 word. And then we can start creating the verb command itself from the input. So if we get the say command, then we will return a say with a sentence. And it's a bit tricky because we might, if a player does something like say hello, we will have a parts array that has two parts, the say part and the hello part, and that'll work okay. That's basically what we've been doing here. If we say something like string parts 1. However, if a player says something like say hello world, it will only output hello, because the second word will not be seen. So what we need to do is we need to make a string that contains all the words or all the parts of the parts array except the first one, because that's the say command itself. Unfortunately, in Swift there's a rather elegant way of doing that, using the joint and drop first functions. So let's see, we have our parts. We'll drop the first one. This will return an array, sort of the same array except the first word. So the say word will be gone. And then we have all the other words that the player might say. However, we also lost all the spaces because of the separator, so we need to inject those again. And that's also quite easy because you have a joint function, and that allows us to inject a new separator, and this recovers the original sentence except the say part. So we should now be able to create a say word or a say sentence. Let's see. To use that, we need to add it in our parse handler. We need to add a case for when a say comes in. However, we also need a helper function to do the actual saying. So what I will do is I'll create a separate function first. We'll call it func say message. We'll call it session. It will contain the session and the sentence. It'll be an asynchronous function, and it'll return an array of MUD responses. We'll first make sure we have our player. And from our session.playerID. If we don't, then it's let's copy paste this message from one of the other ones. We don't have a player. Oh wait. So now we have a player. We need to have a result, and the first and we'll create an array, and the first entry will be the message the player is saying. So this will be a player session, and this should be session, and the message will be something like you say, and then the sentence, and in the end we'll return the result, and in between we will add send a message to other players. We'll get an array of MUD messages there as well, and we'll say the message something like player.username says sentence, and the player will be the player that we found. And this should be enough for this function. And then we can go into the parse handler and add a case for the for the say command. We'll get in the sentence, we'll respond, say message, we'll have our updated session, and we have our sentence. And this should be enough. So let's try running it. Let's get a terminal window up. Let's try and log in. Just need to wait for the application to start. It's still building. So it's done building, it's starting up the application, and it's running. So we should be able to log in. Okay, so this is us. Then we need a second screen for another player to get an idea of whether this is working correctly. I think it was called test user. Okay, look, this is what I added after the last session, so we can see that the player has entered. So let's try saying things. Say hello world, and here it says Foo says hello world, and you say hello world. So let's try saying something back. What a great day for Swift. And we get the message back. So this works quite well, and this also means that we met our goal for today. So this is a rather short session, but still I think we implemented a very important part of a MUD game. So thanks for watching and have a good day.